And welcome back to another episode, ladies and gentlemen, of Grade A Power Play. This your boy Grade A Fantasy. Welcome back. It was an okay night, I could say, last night. It definitely helped putting full value on the power play, which the LA1 fully correlated line hit. And then, of course, I had multiple combos. I also tried, once again, I was like Kuzmenko for over the 1.5 for the 2 shots, but not a lot of things, hit as well. They go to regular line combos of Kempe Kopitar. It was more of a defensive game, and we chased, but we only got Stankoven yesterday, so didn't work out properly. But today's another day, and there's a lot of great opportunity. Let's go right into it. I always keep scrolling down, so I might as well just tell you. This was about maybe a few days. No, not a few, a couple, or maybe a day and a half before the actual playoffs started. So I got 3 bets on who I think are the best teams for the Stanley Cup winner. Colorado at plus 650, Vegas at plus 900, and defending champ Florida at plus 750. So, as of right now, everything's looking okay, I guess. Colorado has an elimination game at home, so might be losing one of them, but we'll see. But let's get right into the cover sheet. There's 3 games tonight. We're mainly really going to focus on 2. First and foremost, let's just get on the cover sheet. This has a 9:30 broadcast, so according to this is a 9:50 puck drop. But here's the thing: if you're listening to this video, it has happened a couple of times where I just get my bets in early because you could probably get the better odds. There are times where you could bet certain things and you just get better odds regardless as the day goes on. But sometimes when it says like 9:50, that's a pretty long time to not have a lot of hockey when your broadcast starts at 9:30, even with national anthem and everything like that. So a lot of these, when you see it all the way get up to like 9:50, yeah, I've seen a lot of 10 o'clock puck drops get to 10:20, but just be careful. Some of these do go. It may say 9:50, but I've seen pucks still drop regular time like 9:49 or a little bit later than regular, but it drops at 9:42 and so on and so forth. So if you get these, you can just jot these down. Hopefully they're about the same price. And there's some good odds. I didn't really shop that much on DK, but there are some solid, for what I want, there are some solid odds here on FanDuel. So as you can see here, cover sheet, Valardi is back. Now this is the tale of whoever's at home is pretty much going to dominate or block the other team. But when it comes to being at home, the defense is just better at home, so we're just going to stick with that. But there's a lot of opportunity here for a little bit of ruckus here. Now, I understand that with the previous, after the 5-3 game, it was 2-1, and then it was just the Blues pretty much dominating. Totally understand that. Blues dominated, but the Blues dominated at home. So, we all know a lot of offenses come to die in Winnipeg. It's just the way it is. But now that, the scoring is not all over just Scheifele and Connor, who pretty much was carrying the offense as best they can in the previous 4 games. With Valardi back, we have some interesting combos to put. So plus 112 with him and Scheifele, plus 104 with him and Connor. Now, with the opportunity here, here's where things get interesting. One of the best point scorers and one of the top, I think he's in the top 5 in that category in point scoring. Cam Fowler, we'll take Cam Fowler for a point. And then here's where things get interesting. So for interesting stats, I still haven't finished everything that I wanted, but here are things that I'm looking at. Let's jump right into this. Now, obviously, with the way things are going, you're probably thinking, yes, they'll have the matchups probably. Like I said, Winnipeg is one of those teams that has a second or third line, even though that top line can play some matchups. They're most likely going to play the second or third line. Now that everything is back to normal, they'll probably have the Winnipeg 3, like the Nino Niederreiter line. Now that Ehlers and everything else is pretty much back in its place. Now that Valardi is back, so Winnipeg will definitely get mid-6 matchups. So you could definitely see the Nemestikov Iafallo line. You could definitely see Adam Lowry and the Niederreiter line. They'll be mixing and matching. But yeah, and then with no Ehlers, if I'm not with Nikola Ehlers out, I'm pretty sure Valardi jumps right back in. It is viable. Now, it is also viable on the St. Louis side to take some of these point combos, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think you can still get something, but like I said, with the defense always better at home, just put the caution in certain things. That's why some of these odds are so high. Like literally, Braden Shen is plus 164, and a line mate like Jake Neighbors is plus 144. Jordan Kyrou is plus 104. So the risk it biscuit is kind of in there in a way. Like I said, it hasn't been a shutout, but there was one game at home where Hellebuck did hold him down to 1 goal. So it will suck if you try to get these. But even with 1 point, it is so much value that you have to take some of these. But what I like here with Valardi back, and like I said, that top line most likely, I think there's possibility that even without Valardi, Connor and Shifley were holding it down and have already multiple 2-point games in this series. So I think you could take various combinations of Connor Shifley, which is like a 388. And now since he's been back, obviously he has great odds. So Shifley and Valardi for 2 points. Valardi for 2 points by himself is basically almost plus 700 with Shifley and Connor. Valardi by himself is 400. So there are opportunities there. But the big thing that I want to talk about this game is what this show is named after. You have to take whatever you do. I'm not sprinkling anything. I say take full units. The only thing that sucks is they don't have everybody. This is a very short list. Winnipeg has basically their Winnipeg power play 1. The only thing that sucks is please wait. Remember, power play odds stay the same. I just hope they add Valardi. Once again, this is a game that's not scheduled for a 9:30 puck drop, and I think this game is going to lock either at 9:40, 9:50. Can you still take live point odds? Of course. The only thing is when the game locks, power play odds disappear, so you're not going to get those. So now, obviously, the lowest is Shifley at 195. We have to take that, and we got to take St. Louis too. On both ends, these are the top 2 teams that lead in penalty minutes. The only thing is that St. Louis has a decent penalty kill in the mid-70s for the playoff time, but the worst is 140 minutes by Winnipeg. They're 3rd worst in the penalty kill, 66.7. They're tied with LA. So all of these are viable. They're all viable. What's another bit of proof? 4 games. This is game 5. St. Louis has 6 power play goals, Winnipeg 2. So Winnipeg has really had to get this on 5-on-5, really. And the power play and their power plays, I think both have came at home. I don't think they have a power play point on the road, if I'm not mistaken. So all these guys are viable here. If anything, you hope that they add Valardi. When it comes to the St. Louis side, the correlation side is Robert Thomas, Cam Fowler, and Buchnevich. They're on power play 1, while the Kyrou Shen Neighbors line is on the second power play unit, along with Justin Falk and Oscar Sundquist. Bolduc and Snuggerud, as you can see, he's right there as well, complete the power play 1. So they do have some power play 1 correlation here for both teams, but everybody's viable. But come on, when you see a guy like, and then of course, like I said, when it comes to the power play units, St. Louis is 1 and 2 together is better than, Winnipeg's 1 and 2, because obviously the strength is in Winnipeg 1 with 2 fully correlated line 1 and line 2s. But when you see somebody like Jordan Kyrou at plus 600, and Jordan Kyrou is on, and this is a balanced unit, this is a 1 minute kind of thing. So with these two power play units getting even time, yes, these are all, I'm not sprinkling no, I mean, it will suck to lose, but this is definitely worth it. Somebody like Jordan Kyrou, this is like as the season goes on, you're still getting somebody like Brady Tkachuk or Tim Stutzler at like plus 450. Kyrou at 600, I mean, I understand that they're home and the defense is better, but Winnipeg still commits a whole ton of penalties. They're number 1 at 140. Guess who's second? Once again, the team that they're facing. But guess by how many minutes? You got to drop 32 minutes to get to 108 to St. Louis. So it's just that they have a slightly better penalty kill. Both of these teams are the only teams in the playoffs right now that are over 100 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So both sides are worth sniffs. Once again, plus 195 all the way up to plus 600. And once again, the plus 600 is Jordan Kyrou. So definitely got to take that. Besides Shifley, Connor Morrissey, the power play quarterback, 210s, 290s. Definitely got to take that there. And so besides the combinations that I was talking about, yes, they're all viable here. Before we get into the next game that we'll talk about, the next to last game out of this 3-gamer, like I said, when you get back up here for the points, or some of the best that I had, yes, I think I have a few of them here, but there was always people I was talking about. Like I said, I have Cam Fowler assist and the point, so he's just been hot all playoff. So yeah, I pretty much got these 4 with the 2 power plays and the 2 pairs, including Valardi. You're not getting money with Connor and Shifley, best believe. So don't even think about it. But yes, take a look at the lineups, point combos. I think some of these are already confirmed. When you look at the points, I mean, if you look at line 1, like I said, Thomas Buchnevich, 170 all the way down to 125. You're looking at plus 114 with that. And then it just gets better than there. If you're looking for Snuggerud to combine with Thomas, Snuggerud's plus 150 by himself. You add that up, that's plus 186. There's a lot. There's a lot of great opportunity to make money here, and with so many people having great odds, here's the scenario: power play. Some of the Winnipeg players, basically the top line with Valardi back to score 2, and if you can get pretty much, if St. Louis could do what they did in Game 1, when they lost 5-3. Even if they go 5-2, you're making a lot of money with some of the pairs that happen here. Because basically everybody's here, and you even got some of the line 3 guys for with some of the defensemen for St. Louis here. Like I said, Braden Shen is on the Kyrou line. If you put plus 172 with plus money, Jordan Kyrou, and as you can see, those odds just move. Shen and Kyrou are plus 258. So there's a lot of money to be made here. I mean, obviously the odds are moving as you see right there, but Snuggerud with Thomas is money. Shen and Nabe, Braden Shen. I mean, if anybody from line 2 score, you're making a lot of money today, plus 146. It's just a lot of money to be made here. Yes, this could be an ugly 5-1, 4-1, maybe even a 3-1. Game 2 ended up 2-1. But with Valardi here, there's got to be at least a little bit of an offensive boost. I definitely think there's money to be made here. And to get to the last game that I would like to talk about, yes, the Battle of Florida. I already have a couple of bets in here. This is the best defense. I only got a couple of things maybe for Tampa Bay. I think Florida closes it out, not because I have a bet. It's just because that this is literally the best defense. Now, we do have 2 things to worry about, or 2 things we can take advantage of. Aaron Ekblad got suspended for 2 games for that elbow to the head. It was basically like a cross check to the neck. And then, of course, on the so he's suspended for 2 games. And then on the Tampa side, when it comes to their defensive lockdown line, Sorelli has now been moved down to line 3 with Radish and Goncalves, and Nick Paul moves up to line 2 with Geeky and Yanni Gourde. Of course, that's projected. That's what they think could happen. Hagel is out, and Bjorkstrand for the offensive boost is still out. Hagel suspended for this game. So he's important for that Hagel-Sorelli line, which is their defensive line at home. So what I still like here with the Ekblad news, remember, this is the playoffs. Now, I understand they still have Nate Schmidt. Florida still has Nate Schmidt, quarterback in power play 2. But with that being said, with him quarterback in power play 2, I still say, because, this is a closeout game, he's stepped up to the top pair instead of playing line 2. You have Gustav Forsling stepping up, so he's going to get extra minutes. Gustav Forsling is now on the top pair with Seth Jones, which means he's on the top pair with Barkov, Reinhardt, and Verhaeghe, who have still found success even on the road. So they could very, very well be part of points and power play points, which is why I'm also doing Seth. Here's some power play odds for you. Seth Jones for a point is plus 112. Seth Jones for an assist, plus 162. Once again, we're going to chase Gustav Forsling, plus 200 for a point. Gustav Forsling is plus 280 for an assist. Now that he's moved up in the pair and he's going to get more minutes, without a doubt, I love Gustav Forsling. I love Seth Jones even more for success because he's going to be running on that power play. I don't really like anything from Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's only got 1 power play this whole series. The penalty kill for Florida is above 92%. No, it's above 93%. They've only given up 1 power play so far. When everybody, after their 93, it drops down to 80, and then there's everybody else. Florida's defense, even when they can't score a lot, Florida has, without a doubt, played some serious championship defense. Seriously. I understand the Washington-Montreal game has provided a lot of hitting and physical play, and those games don't blow up as much except for a couple of instances, but the Florida defense has been absolutely lights out. So like I said, with no Ekblad, and like I said, missing one of the key guys on the shutdown line, I still like the top line of Barkov Reinhart, Barkov for Hagee, and basically all the combos this time. This time, literally, for the first time all series, when you combine all of them together, you can actually get plus money on all of them. Like I said, there was a time that you just had to do for Hagee with each of the other two because Barkov and Reinhardt was like minus 138, minus 128. Now, when you do those two expensive guys together, and then you go, like I said, Bennett plus 138, even Barkov and Reinhardt, finally. If you could just get that 102, it's kind of like what Andy says. And whenever you could get anything, Kucherov or McDavid, plus money, anything early, you jump on it right away. And that's what I did there, because eventually, probably by closing, that's either going to be minus 102, minus 112, minus 108, something in that factor. And that's pretty much it. I pretty much think, unless I think of anything else, I mean, with the opportunity here and him moving up and possibly getting more minutes, because Nick Paul was playing line 3, he's projected to move up. But like I said, Nick Paul is a savvy vet, has always come up big in games like this, in this situation, and facing elimination. Why not take Nick Paul for plus 154 by himself for a point? Definitely seems like that makes sense. He does have a couple of points in this series. As usual, I'm always going to go Bennett Tkachuk. It sucks that Sam Miskevich now is getting scratched. He's not playing anymore, but, you know, hopefully he gets back in the rotation. And other than that, yeah, this could be one of those games. Yeah, I could see a Lundell Marchand point. It could happen. Both of those guys plus money. Add them two together plus 265. But, yeah, without a doubt, there's definitely some money to be made tonight. But those are the only two games that I'll be concentrating on. And let's take a look at the power plays. At least I'll look at it from the floor. I mean, we could look at it from the other side, but because, you know, Braden Point and Gensel can correlate, because I do have Braden Point and Gensel in this game. Like I said, Hedman's the power play quarterback, but it's a better power play matchup on the Florida side. The Florida defense is just absolutely ridiculous. I just looked it up. It's 93.6%. So, I mean, they're going to be chucking. And maybe there might be some defensive lapses. Like I said, I think there's going to be some defensive lapses when it comes to the forwards losing somebody like Hagel. And then, you know, I think it's going to hurt more in the depth now that you have to move a Forsling. But when you have Seth Jones and Forsling up top, you know, Seth Jones is not really known for being he's more of an offensive player than a defender, but he's definitely a puck mover, defender. Gustav Forsling, and both those guys, when you lose somebody like Ekblad, and then you have to count on more minutes from like people like, I think, what is it, Balinskis and Schmidt and Kulikov and Mikkola, definitely, without a doubt, I definitely see at minimum Seth Jones and Gustav Forsling. Without this game going to overtime, they'll be in the 20. I'm pretty sure they'll be in the 23 to 25 minute range with no Ekblad. As important as Ekblad is, he'll definitely be in there. I think if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to those three, the game that they just won, when Lightning collapsed at the end, here are the minutes on ice. Ekblad had 22 and 11, right? He's not there. Gustav Forsling already in that game had 23-34. Seth Jones had 26-16. And remember, Seth Jones gets power play minutes. So that's just a little extra right there. So if there's no Ekblad, yeah, damn 23. Gustav Forsling was already playing 23. Gustav Forsling is going to play 25 minutes. It increases his chances of getting that assist. Because if he gets the assist, boom, we hit both of those. And the same thing for Seth Jones. Because Seth Jones is at 26. So look for Seth Jones to, without overtime, play half the game, 30 minutes. And Kulikov, Mikkola, and Schmidt will make up the rest. So that's what I have for you today. Like I said, there's other combinations here. Didn't I show the... Because, like I said, I think I even got plus money on... Did I? Fan, Forsling, Fan, Barkov, Bennett. I swore... Wait, let me check here. Because I swore I had Bennett, Reinhardt. Okay, I swore I had the. I swore I put in the point Gensel because when I was looking at my I just probably marked it down. That's what it is because in my notes that I'm looking at right now, point Gensel is plus 110. So I got to make sure I get that before that changes. Is it still plus 110? Yes. So let me just get that. Obviously, Kucherov is too high. Whatever, you got to count for 2 points. But I don't see 2 points here. Not with this defense. If Lightning wins, it's gonna be one of those tight, playoff wins like 2-1, 3-1 kind of things, or 3-2 the most. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, definitely money to be made. Looking at the stats, definitely looking more. Even though what I'm looking for most forward just to watch. If I'm not betting, what I'm willing to watch is Florida, Tampa Bay. Obviously, with what I'm betting, I'm looking forward to St. Louis and Winnipeg. Like I said, it has those tendencies of being a defensive game, but the offensive blowers have been there, except for maybe one game. I think other than that, and Minnesota and Vegas, I think that's 3-2, and then number one, the top scoring series is without a doubt the Kings and Edmonton. Like I said, even the highest games get one dud, at least one. So, once again, thank you for tuning in. Let's make this money tonight. This is your boy Grade A Fantasy with another episode of Grade A Power Plays for the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.